Hey everybody, Schamtoo bringing you another StarCast casting of StarCraft. God, I love saying that. We're going to be going into a best of 5 team battle today. A cruiser has shared with me that there's potentially more of these going on, but this is going to be a 4v4 Pro League style game in which we have the best of 5. I know that these team names seem absolutely unintelligible. It's because I didn't get told what the actual team names were, if they actually did name themselves something. So I went with the players of the teams. So the players that we'll be playing today, for Team 1 is Hyun, Saxry, and Sharp, and Team 2 is Rush, Ruin, Jaehoon, and Action. Thus we have HHSS and RRJA, which honestly I probably could have come up with something a little bit smarter than what I have, but that is not really important right now. Let's get into these games as I swap us over into the main screen and start us off. We have game number 1 today, going to be Hyun versus Rush on Neo Sylphid. Pretty excited to bring these games to you guys. We've gotten back into casting, and by we I mean Schamtoo was out and about doing a lot of things. I did just cast the Snow vs. Sorry series, and that was a lot of fun, but bringing you a Pro League style match is really a much more exciting prospect to me. So hopefully we're going to see some amazing games coming out of both of these two teams. Again, this is a best of 5, so let's see who's going to win. I think it's, whoever gets to 3 wins is going to be the victor here. So let's take a quick look at what we got. We've got Hyun up here in the blue as the Zerg at the 12 o'clock position of Neo Sylphid, and spawning down here at 5 o'clock position is Rush, our red Terran. And very curious to see how both these players play this map. This map has been a very interesting one to watch. We've been seeing a lot of really heavy Mutalisk play on this map. I'm assuming just because there's just all that airspace. Meanwhile, we've been seeing a lot of Terrans play a couple of different styles here. There have been a lot of really good ASL matches on this map. We've been seeing some mech, some bio. We've been seeing some of that Goliath build that a lot of Zergs kind of been hating. And but I've actually been seeing a lot more bio play coming out from Terrans. Myself, I typically just go for a wall off with the 9 depot and the 15 depot and the 11 racks. It does not look like Rush wants to go with that, and I understand why. Those types of wall offs, which are great against any type of aggressive Zergling plays, will then hinder you later on trying to move your units back and forth. And again, because we see so many Mutalisks on this map, moving your units back and forth is quite pivotal. Meanwhile, Zergs have been going for a lot of 2-hatch builds on this map, just playing a little bit more of that aggressive style. We're seeing exactly the same thing coming out here from Hyun. We see the gas going down right after the spawning pool, and that hatchery going down at 12. So we have a little bit of a less aggressive build, but still going into that very quick 2-hatch play. The drone coming down here will probably get here. Figure out that there's no mech on the way. Don't immediately need any type of sunken colonies to defend from vultures. Instead, we're going to see some marines. And overall, we actually haven't seen Rush go out to scout yet. So this is actually that SCV going out to scout right now. The drone is dogging right behind him, trying to get a couple of those gliding shots on. But we'll see what Rush has in store. It seems like so far we have 400 minerals saved up. Actually, a 19cc. Potentially. Where's that other SCV going? Okay, no. Just looking for, I guess, any type of Zergling or anything. With that 19cc, I mean, that's a pretty late CC. Actually, it was probably around 20 at that point. A lot of Terrans prefer to get it before then, but if you don't really get out there, don't scout, don't get an idea of what the Zerg is up to, that can be a little bit scary to just throw down, say, like a 16, 17, 18 CC. And overall, like, this will give you a little bit more boost of resources in the very beginning, but will cost you, like 1 or 2 SCVs later on in terms of just pure macro. The layer's already coming down. We're more than halfway done, so let's see exactly what Hyun has in store here. We see just a small amount of Zergling out here just trying to defend. Doesn't look like they want to poke in and do any damage. No bunker out in the front, but we're probably going to see that immediate 2 racks play. Oh, actually, no. We're going 1 racks immediately into Academy, which is a little bit off the normal response for 2-hatch, but still a pretty standard response. Sometimes Terrans like to skip that 1 barracks just to get a little bit quicker stim, quicker range upgrade in case they're afraid of the Mutalisks. Range upgrade is one of the pivotal upgrades there. And so far we have the speed on the way here for Hyuk. Second gas going down, and Spire has already started as well. So we're going so far into pretty, you know, non-aggressive Zerg build at the moment. You know, we're not really going to be trying to pressure in it at all. A couple of Zergling may get made just to pounce on some Marines if there's no bunker, but guess what? There's a bunker, so I highly doubt we're going to see any type of mass Zergling or anything like that. Which sometimes comes out around the 20 supply mark just to get some Marines in there. But that's really only if you know that the Terran has just free Marines sitting around. And so the second barracks now coming up here. No NG Bay just yet. And this is a little bit pushing it on time. I think you want to get it by 4:45, 4:30 to be ready for mutas, but maybe just with this little bit of delay in that Spire. Or, I mean, sorry, not delay, but time before the Spire finishes, he's got probably that perfect timing set up. There we go. All right, so there's that engineering bay going down there at 5 minutes. It's interesting to note. I'll keep that in mind. And, yeah, we got the second gas, and we're now starting to save up all of our larvae as the Spire finishes up, and not starting to save up larvae. Sorry, we have been saving up larvae. We're going to get to the 6 mutalisks coming out now. And this is a very interesting time here for Rush. Do you decide to push out? Do you decide to keep those mutas a little bit delayed here in order to maybe force a couple Sunkens, etc.? It doesn't really seem like there's going to be a push out or anything. And these Zergling are spotting out for any type of movement coming out there from Rush. Meanwhile, Rush is setting an SCV out there, probably looking to see if there's a third base on the way. A third base, and knowing if there's a third base coming up behind these mutas is really pivotal. For knowing whether or not this is going to be an all-in on mutas, or if this is going to be just like a little bit of a play to get map control and then take a third base. So that SCV is pretty critical. And, you know, if Hyuk were to spend any type of time looking for that SCV, that would give Rush a little bit more time to kind of build up and be prepared here. And so scouting around, doesn't see that third base going down anytime soon. Instead sees a lot of Sunkens going down. And that's interesting. That's 5 Sunkens. So I think we're going pretty all in on these mutas. I don't think we're going to be seeing anytime soon. The SCV does get in, sees that many Sunkens, and that's a very curious amount of Sunkens to see. This isn't like a 5-rack play or anything, so I'm a little bit caught off guard there. But the mutas get in. They're taking out a couple of those missile turrets. Not doing the greatest of micro there. We are losing 2 mutas at least. Potentially losing one more. That missile turret is getting a lot of damage done on those mutas. And yeah, we did lose 3 mutas in that, but we are still at 8 mutas. And overall, I mean, Rush did a pretty good job of defending, but I think we lost a lot of SCVs there. Overall, though, we are still on 3 barracks. We probably should be seeing a factory go down around now. 7 minutes is around when the factories start to poke in here. But we've got 8 mutas coming back around looking for the natural. Rush has already pulled those SCVs away. Although that might have been just the SimCity, that missile turret in there. And that's a lot of SCVs going down now. But the Marines are starting to push out across the map. I believe +1 weapons will be finished very shortly. And the mutas will have to engage this. And engaging the Marine ball in the middle of the map is going to be very difficult. Really, on a map like Sylphid, it's very difficult to find that high ground advantage that mutas really love to abuse. Maps like Circuit Breaker, where you pretty much are forced to walk across a bridge or hug a low ground versus high ground. That's where mutas really shine. Being in the middle of the map like this, guess what this is? This is a really big threat to Hyuk and any type of third base he wants to take. But look, we're not seeing a drone go out there for Hyuk. Hyuk is just kind of building up here. And let's take a look back here at what's going on. We do have the Hive now coming up. We have the Hydralisk done, getting a Lurker upgrade. So we are just going into pure tech coming out here from Hyuk. And honestly, Rush is really far behind in tech. We don't have a factory. We don't... And, you know, that factory being so delayed, we're at 8 minutes. We're not going to see a science vessel for a very long time. So Hyuk might be able to pounce on that fact. The fact that there is no science facility anytime soon. Without a radiance, without science vessels, this is going to be a very easy base to break. Because a single Dark Swarm, you don't even need consume. You just need a little bit of time to gather up that energy. But what does Hyuk have to be really cautious of right now is just whether or not that Marine ball can really put some pressure on. Okay, so we do have the hive underway now. Most of the way done here. We have so many sunken colonies built up here. So yeah, we're just staying on this 2-base tech for a really long time. And this is going to be a very scary thing for Rush to realize. I mean, those scans are going down. He knows that he's really far behind in tech, so there's that factory now. But is it going to be in time is really my question. We're pumping out a lot of Marines, a lot of medics. But this is a very scary moment here for Terran. Can you get the tech out in time? So the factory has finished up. We need to get that starport now underway. There's the first starport, probably a second starport right behind it. Because we are not making any siege tanks or anything. Mutalisks jumping on top of those Marines. No upgrades on the Mutas. No Evo Chamber, so obviously no upgrades on the Zergling either. Getting these Zergling and Mutas in here is really just to kind of start thinning out those numbers of Marines and medics. To just dissuade any type of pushing out on the map or getting anywhere. Really what the Zerg wants to do right now is make sure that the Terran is locked down for as long as possible. If he can get all of his units across the map, that makes this Defiler push a lot stronger. So backing up with these Lurkers, just giving himself a little bit of room. And there's... Oh, actually, no, I take it back. Okay, I'm sorry. That's not a Defiler play. It's going to be a Greater Spire play. But we do have a lot of Lurkers coming up behind this. And this is going to be a great abuse of this area right here. I mean, you put like 1 or 2 Lurkers right here, maybe 1 over here. You know, just a few Lurkers over here. And guess what? Now you have just completely locked off this second base from being able to do anything. And honestly, that does make it a little bit easier because we do have Rush just sitting outside this base, containing anything. So getting a Defiler across the map would be very difficult. But getting those Lurkers across the map is also going to be difficult. So I don't really know what is going to be the play here. The Mutas are getting destroyed here, though. So, I mean, that Greater Spire is going to be nice. But if you don't have any Mutas left, it's not going to be that useful. Okay, and I also... This is a little bit of an interesting spot to go for as well. Because this third base is a place that these Marines can pop over here and here. I guess there is a little sweet spot where those Guardians won't be able to reach. But Lurkers pushing out, Zergling coming out behind them. Hive's been done, so I'm sure we've got the Crackling upgrade as well. It looks like actually Hyun is now just going to decide to go for a third base. So both these players just kind of staying on that third base tech for a really long time. These Guardians have now finally finished up here. Trying to get this third base. Marines coming in, but the Lurkers are going to be able to get that burrow down. And with that choke point, that's a very scary place to be fighting. We do have that +1 weapons on the Marines. I don't believe there's an Evo Chamber out just yet, so we're not going to see any upgrades coming out there. But actually, we're saying a couple of Guardians back here. I don't know about this. These Guardians really should not be in the middle of the map. That is so scary. Oh my god. But I guess the Guardians will give a little bit of a breath to the Lurkers to really be able to burrow down here. And this will just make a very scary Zerg army. Those Guardians do so much damage to Marines. You can see already those Marines getting absolutely destroyed. Now the Hydras, I believe, are out here to really dissuade any type of science vessels getting close up. The science vessel range for a Radiate, though, is pretty long. And so I don't really know if those Hydralisks will be able to get a good enough breath there to the Guardians, but we'll see exactly if the Irradiate does go down here. But we are slowly microing our way forward. We do have a third base that's just finished up as well. And now we're getting really close. This science vessel over here does not have an Irradiate. We got a Lurkers on top of the bunker. The bunker is going to go down really quickly. And now we've created a choke point with that supply depot. When a Radiate does go down on a Guardian, it's going to have to back up here. But with those two other Hydras, you know, you don't want to just float those two science vessels over there for an Irradiate or anything else. There's a couple of Marines coming in from the back, but there's a bunch of Lurkers here. There are a couple of hits that go down here. And with these Guardians, you can also just start peppering away on those Marines that are trying to get into a good position to deal with those Lurkers. One Wraith does come out, and with all those Hydras down, we are now into a little bit of a difficult situation here where there's nothing protecting this. But guess what? A second round of Hydras and Guardians are cleaning up the rest of that Bio Ball. And it looks like Rush is in a lot of trouble here. Hyun has gotten into a really good situation. However, it looks like with the Marines, Medics, and Wraiths, we are going to be able to clean up the rest of those forces coming in. And a lot of Hyun's offensive here has been stopped. But at what cost? I mean, we've lost a lot of that forward ground there at the natural. I mean, we are still at 50 SCVs, though. We don't have a third base. And if, you know, Hyuk is able to just lock Rush in here, that's going to be great. But guess what? Now we've got so many science vessels out here. We don't really have that much else coming up behind us. We got a whole bunch of Hydras. Do we even have an Evo chamber out here? No, we don't. So we have no upgrades coming up. And right now, I mean, we've got 2-1 on these Marines. These are beastly Marines. Hydra's getting on top of the science vessel. Can they get it? No, not going to be able to do it. Now there's 4 science vessels out here. We're starting to get back into siege tank production, so we'll probably stop seeing any type of science vessels coming out here. And Hyuk really just has to survive. I mean, we're still at 14 minutes in the game. We've got a good amount of time before we completely mine out of both of these bases. But the main base is about to go down soon. However, remember, Rush is still at 50-some SCVs. Hyuk, however, is at 24 drones. That's really low. A Dark Swarm does go down here. The Lurkers are getting on top of these units. We are starting to break through this, but can the Hydras get the advantage that they want? Now another Dark Swarm coming down here. We do have Siege Tank finally finishing up, but at the last moment, and unfortunately that's not the timing that we really wanted with those Siege Tanks. We have no fire bats out here either. We're going to stim and get back into the bunker, but guess what? That's not going to do that much under the Dark Swarm. Now the Lurkers have completely forced that natural command center away. And remember when I said that the main is starting to mine out? Well, guess what? Now we don't have a natural either. Oh my god, that Dark Swarm for the last second getting that Lurker there. We are just barely going to be able to break through here with more and more Dark Swarms. I don't see what Rush is going to be able to do. We have now 1 Irradiate going down on that Defiler, but we're already on top of the production. I don't see how Rush is going to be able to build an army now. I mean, as soon as you've got on top of the Terran production, you are completely out of options. We immediately get a siege tank out and start sieging it. Can we actually keep this alive, though? We do have a small amount of units and a couple of dropships coming out here. It looks like we're going to go for a counterattack. There's nothing back here to defend it, actually. So that third base is now under pressure. And can Hyuk defend it? That's the question. A couple of Lurkers are going to go down over here. Scourge hit that 1 dropship. So we got 1 dropship with an SCV in here. That's not really what we want right now. Oh, and a plague going on top of the Marines as well. But every drone here is going to count. We are at such a low amount of drones. Can we get on top of that drone line? Everything's plagued, though, so that's going to get cleaned up. We do actually force Hyuk out of Rush's natural. We're going to be able to stabilize for the time being. But we're down to the last 2 mineral fields. We have to float our main command center over to the natural. Oh, God. If Rush is able to stay alive here, I am going to be absolutely blown away. But that's the stalwartness of Terran. The Radiate's now going down, trying to take out some of those Lurker numbers before they actually get too big. The science vessels over here, though, are really hurt. And what a crazy game for game number 1 between these 2 players, between these 2 teams, sorry. Alright, so now we're going to start pushing back out again. We do have a number of barracks. We have our natural getting back to being mined. We have about 500 minerals here, so we got a little bit of time before we're going to run out here. Irradiate going down on Hydralisk in an egg. Don't really know if that was really effective. That just kind of like removes 1 Hydra for like a little bit of time. But we're getting into a good position. Is there a Defiler out here? Ooh, Scourge coming in here. Can we actually take them out? Yes! That is going to be pretty nice. There is 1 Defiler over here, and with that 1 Defiler, we are in a little bit of trouble. We can't get that Defiler down. We're in a lot of trouble. The Dark Swarm going down already. The Defiler starting to lose its health, but it's not quite done yet. Dark Swarm going down yet again. Can we reposition ourselves into a good spot? Zergling going to get on top of this siege tank. Oh, and we're backing up. Okay, I like this. I like backing up here. I think it's smart. We have a number of Marines and medics now coming back out, so this Zergling counterattack isn't going to be able to do that much. There is a lone Lurker over here. But in this time, Hyuk has started... Oh, 1 Defiler walking into the middle of a bunch of siege tanks. Okay, so there was a pretty nice plague that went down here. But guess what? If that is the only Defiler we had, that's going to be really difficult. Siege tanks are going to start shredding away at the Lurkers, Zergling, and everything else that's coming in here. Gotta back up. Gotta let the siege tanks tank a little bit of that damage because the plague did move all the bio health down to nothing. Can we get these remainder medic and marines up here? Zergling going to be able to get on top of them, but they will hopefully get a little bit more time here. There is an irradiate available. There's at least one irradiate available. Oh god. But all those Zerg lurkers are so hurt. I'm sorry, all those side vessels are so hurt. Oh my god, this game. Alright, now that we got the natural back up though, it looks like we were able to start pumping out more medic and marine and start getting a little bit more aggressive. Yuck now on the ropes. This has changed back into the other side. The Defiler coming up. Can it get the Dark Swarm? No, it's going to go for a Plague. That's because Dark Swarm doesn't protect from buildings, so getting a Plague probably is very useful here if you can get a couple of units out here. But guess what? That third base is going to go down. Oh my god! Yuck! Is defeated. Oh my god, that was such a great turnaround there from Rush. That tenacity was insane. That was insane. Whew. All right. So Team RRJA gonna take the first victory there. Oh my god, I can't believe that. That was great. That is a tenacious Terran. Okay, let's get into game number 2 here. As we go into versus Ruin on Fighting Spirit. Alright, let's get into our 2 players here. Spawning over here in the bottom left-hand corner is our gray Protoss player. It is Ruin. Spawning over here in the bottom right-hand corner, it is our orange Zerg. ZVP on Fighting Spirit. Oh, got the production tab on there. A very normal mainstay of the StarCraft BroodWar scene, to seeing Fighting Spirit with really any matchup, obviously, but ZVP, such a crazy matchup. I always love watching ZVPs just because, to be honest, my knowledge on ZVP is a lot more lackluster than it is on, say, any of the Terran versus whatever matchups, because I'm a Terran. But it is such a crazy matchup. It's got such fluidity to it. At 1 second, with Terran versus Zerg, it's kind of a razor's edge. Zerg versus Protoss is also a very strong razor's edge. Whereas I normally find Terran versus Protoss, like, you generally have a good idea of like how the standings are and what these and how incredibly like just standardized that matchup has become, much to the Protoss's chagrin. But Zerg versus Protoss is just one of those crazy matchups. We do have an overpool coming down here. We have a Gateway Expand. So we're going to be a little bit of aggressive, and that's going to be nice because, we have this Gateway Expand. We have close positions and closer positions. When you're on the horizontals, you have a little bit closer rush distances than if you are at the verticals. So that's very nice here for Ruin, and that will allow him to be just a little bit more aggressive. Now, we did get that early spawning pool, so we didn't see any type of cheeky, greedy builds. Now trying to go for that hatchery expand, but I mean, Ruin can just kind of dance around this whole entire time. Wow. And so the first Zealot now on the way. We don't have a... Okay, so finally we do get the 3 o'clock position hatchery down. So we're going to get that quick 3 hatcheries as soon as we can. But Hm's not really waiting for that. We do have the first Zergling now heading out here because the pool has finished up. Throwing down the pylon. God, we are just being super annoying today. I'm curious to see how Ruin is going to follow this up. Given the number of Zergling that are out right now, keeping this probe alive and just being a little bit more aggressive, possibly taking out this drone, is going to be pretty pivotal. But you have to be very careful just because if this one Zealot does get surrounded, you're in a lot of trouble. You really want to meet up with at least, one other Zealot so you can get a little bit of movement and micro around here. And there we go. There's that second Zealot. And as soon as you get to 3 Zealots, like, the Zerg just pretty much is in a really bad spot. But it looks like, you know, Ruin is realizing... Oh, God, that was so close. Ruin is starting to realize that this is just, like, not a great spot. And actually, it looks like... Okay. All right, nice little block here on the ramp. The Zergling are trying to go in here for an aggression on the main base. But it looks like they're not going to be able to slip through. That one probe does take a couple of hits. We got our expansion on the way. And we have to watch out for what Hm's up to. We're not pumping out a lot of Zergling right now. We do have just, you know, a couple more in the wings, just waiting for any type of Zergling, of Zealots to move out here. The Overlord will be the spotter here. Where you want to pump out as many drones as possible. But overall, I mean, this is a lot of investment into these Zealots, so I'd be surprised if we didn't continue to invest into these Zealots. And what that investment means, that's really up to Ruin. You know, we could go for something like a really quick Citadel, or just really push out and just kind of force more Lings. And by forcing more Lings, you know, you lose that drone count. And so this could throw off, I would assume, any type of 3-hatch timings. So I think this kind of forces him into being a little bit more macro-oriented, kind of defensive playing instead of setting up for a more offensive type. That said, however, we're not really seeing a lot come out here. Actually, it's just more Zergling. Okay, we're actually just pumping out a lot of Zergling here. Going into a 4th hatchery. I assume speed is on the way. Yeah, it is. So it looks like we're actually just going to go for a pretty big counter here. Actually, what is this probe doing? What is this little guy up to, huh? I mean, we've pretty much... Okay, so we started re-droning. We did start getting a couple more drones out here, so it's not like we're going to go all in with these Zergling. I think this is just kind of waiting in the wings here for these Zealots to move out, and then we're going to get a lot of Zergling into the main base. Meanwhile, I mean, this is a little bit of a delicate dance here, because you have to be ready to be able to prepare and defend against 6 Zealots with just Zergling. We don't really have any sunken colonies or any type of SimCity setup here. This actually just might end up being a giant pincer maneuver. And losing all these Zealots, if you can get these Zealots before they actually get into that 3rd base, that's going to be pretty big. Is he going to block the ramp? No, it looks like not. And actually, this is forcing those Zealots into a really bad position here. Oh man, yeah, we are going to lose a lot of Zergling here, but losing those Zealots is a huge investment from the Protoss. And we lost a lot of Zergling, but I think we lost a lot more in terms of Zealots. And losing all that, I mean, right now, we're still just getting our first Corsair out at 6 minutes. I believe the first, you know, Corsair generally is out by like 5:30, if I remember correctly. So we're pretty far behind in terms of seeing everything, but well, normally I should say. But this probe, this little slippery probe, did get in here, did spot pretty much everything that's going on here, and I think Ruin now knows that is basically set up to go for a lot of Hydras behind this. I mean, did see the Hydra Den. We're up to 5 hatcheries. We got 27 some drones. And yeah, okay, so we're just gonna push out a bunch of Hydras. And now, actually, I would say, Ruin, if he didn't realize it already, I mean, he's gotta start getting ready for this. We don't have any photon cannons, though. But I guess we have a little bit of time before the Hydras do hit. But well, maybe we're not gonna go for that many Hydras. Maybe that was just a little bit of a feign there. Layers coming up behind this. Evo Chamber and Hatchery. Yeah, it seems like Ruin has read this much better than I have and said, okay, it doesn't look like we're going to actually see that many Hydras. I think this is just a couple of Hydras to really just defend from Corsairs. So I misread. As I said, PvP, not my best. But let's see just really like what Ruin is up to. Okay, so actually that was a canceled couple of larvae there. That's very interesting. I wonder if there was something that was coming out that he wanted to hide from that Corsair. Templar Archives coming up here. We're now up to 4 gates. Oh, sorry, 5 gates. Zergling poking in here, just checking out to see what the Zealot numbers and really just the count of units is like. Overall, it looks like we are going to be getting out a lot of Hydras now. So a little bit more delayed. A couple more drones on the way, it seems like. So I think this is really just to kind of defend the next coming aggression here, because we do have Zealots with +1 and legs now coming out here. So we probably just want to SimCity, macro up, and get into a better position. And we're starting to even up those drone counts, which is the drone to probe count, which is a little bit scary there for Protoss, but let's see what can happen here. Oh my god, that's actually a lot of Zealots, and that's not that many Hydras over here. Okay, so the third base is now getting rallied over here. The Zealots are getting stuck into SimCity. A really nice Maynard there by him trying to lay those Zealots and getting to the other side of the Hydra list. It looks like a lot of these Zealots are going to get cleaned up. We lost a lot of Hydras, but overall I think we only lost like 2 or 3 drones. And I think overall, who's going to survive for now? We did get 1 Zealot into the main base here. It didn't get any kills though. Some really fancy micro there from 1 drone going down at the end, but having a Zealot in the middle of your main mineral line and not losing anything is pretty lucky. Losing only 1. I really like this as well. We do have that 1 Zergling over here just scouting out for when that third base is going to get expanded to. We have a DT kind of snooping around here. Looking like it's trying to get in here, but there's a couple of Overlords and a couple of Hydras left. I don't really know if there's any Overlords in the main base. There's not. Oh man, with this DT getting in there, that is unfortunate. How many can he... Oh, actually, no, there is that Overlord. It was hidden over there on top of the extractor. Sorry, the assimilator. Meanwhile, a couple more Zealots trying to poke in here over the third base. Doesn't look like that's going to be too possible. Again, these Hydras are kind of just ready to go. We don't really have any upgrades on those Hydras just yet. It looks like +1 weapons will be finishing shortly. But these Zealots are getting a little bit more value. Getting a couple more drone kills here. And that's going to keep the Zerg a little bit more modest in terms of econ. And we're just getting more and more hatcheries. It looks like we will finally kill off that last couple of Zealots. But we're building up Dragoons. We're getting Templar now. We don't have any Lurkers out yet. Excuse me. So this is getting a little bit scary. Okay, now we're starting Lurker. So we have a little bit of time here before we're going to actually get into fully realized Lurker tech, which actually these Dragoons are going to be a little bit less efficient for. They're going to try to go after the probe, I would assume. It does see that there's that third base now coming down. And I think this is when Hm's going to basically just completely cut macro. I mean, at this point, equal worker count. And probably just explode in Hydralists. But right now, Hm's got to be a little bit careful. Got to get those forces across the bridge before the Templar get there. Because if the Templar can get on top of that bridge, that is really unfortunate in terms of those next couple of engagements. So it looks like, though, this is going to force that bridge engagement anyway, because now Hm's going to have to run back into this area. And great storms coming out there from Ruin. Hm is absolutely getting shredded by these storms. There's so many storms left. There's so many units on the natural already. Has just been completely caught off guard. It's now 66 to 110 in a supply count, and I mean, there's just a paltry number of units left. We don't really have that much, and it looks like Lurker is not going to finish at the last second. It's getting killed, and I think that's going to be Team RRJA taking the next victory. I can't believe that engagement went that sour for... I mean, letting that get into the natural was really just a huge mistake. I understand trying to like get all those forces together and trying to prepare for the battle, but leaving that giant open hole in the defense was probably not the right way here. All right, so let's get into the next game. So it looks like Team RRJA is up to 2. Can Team HHSS bring it back? We're going into Saxry versus Jaehoon on Polypoid 1.32. All right. Game number 3. Up 2-0 is Team RRJA. And we've got the winning team member over here. This is Jaehoon, spawning as a teal Protoss, top right-hand corner. In the bottom left-hand corner of Polypoid, it is Saxry, our brown Zerg. Time to figure out what's going to happen in this game. Polypoid, a map I haven't seen in a really long time. Seems like it's coming back into favor. I think it might be a ladder map now. I think it is. Again, I only played like my 5 placements. But curious to see how this game feels different from the last one. I mean, you know, from the games of versus Motive, you know, we saw that was a little bit more of an aggressive style player. We didn't really see that last game. Really, we saw Ruin just kind of keep on the back foot a lot. So I'm curious to see Saxry, who, I mean, I might be mistaken here, is a little bit more of a macro player, is totally more comfortable being the macro player. Plays out this one. We do have a gateway first again, which is interesting, because you know what, like, from a lot of my casting of the foreign scene, gateway first kind of went out of favor for a long time. So it seems like the Korean scene seems to be going back to it a little bit again. And we did go for a 12 hatch here, so we are a little bit cheeky, a little bit greedy. If we can get a 12 hatch or an 11 hatch, because I believe the build order that like Zergs did to counter gateway first was 11 hatch 10 pool. But it seems like so far we just went for a 12 hatch 11 pool. And that probe is just being really annoying. Jaehoon's probe micro. God, look at that. Just constantly finding that one hurt drone, getting in there and just doing so much damage. Oh. Oh. Okay. And that first Zealot is already on the way. The drone micro coming out of here from Saxry, though. Oh my god, delaying that Zealot as much as possible by just doing a little bit of Maynarding. That's some really cute stuff right there. Really, really nicely done. But the pool will finish up. We'll get 4 Zergling out by the time that the Zealot hits. We'll have another pair of Zergling right behind them. And, whoa, that's really weird. Why is that Zealot going up? And okay, just going to go harass the third base. Okay, that makes sense. And that just kind of forces the Zerg to have to make like some really awkward decisions, right? Like, do we kill the probe now? Do we go defend the third base? Obviously, you defend the third base. But now that just lets this probe just sit in this main base for a little bit longer, get a little bit more information about what's going on here. And that, you know, already we can see Saxby has to pop out a couple more Zerglings. Not the best position on that Zealot. Okay, now it's gotten into a good position. And that'll take out a number of Zergling there. Just a little bit unfortunate, but overall it looks like, I think, all right, Jaehoon's gonna keep just sneaking these Zealots around, looking for those little bit of openings here and there. We have the Forge next is about to finish up, Simulator on the way. We're looking pretty happy. Meanwhile, Lair is coming up, so yeah, Saxby not going for any type of Hydra immediate busts or anything like that, not really playing hyper aggressive here. We're playing a little bit more of that macro style. And Saxby, I mean, probably feels a lot more comfortable given that it is cross positions here. That, you know, if you were to go for any type of Hydra bust, I mean, having that little bit of extra time trying to get those Hydras across the map is very difficult. You already have these Zealots that are already on top of your base, so it's not like you can really hide that much here. Really nice surround there coming in there from Saxby. It looks like we will be able to get a lot of damage done on those Zealots before they're actually able to get into a really good position here. Ooh, another nice surround getting on that one Zealot, and they both will go down here. That one little other Zealot's just gonna be like, oh, should probably get out of here. But this probe is still in the base, still seeing everything that's going on. Stargate comes down here now. That one Zealot's gonna get into, ooh, just such a good spot right there. Look at that. Can the probe slip its way out of this one? Oh, yeah, it looks like it will be able to just get out that way. So really, overall, just great micro from both sides. I mean, I have to say, like, that's just crazy. Probe finally does go down. Spire is now in the way. really, overall, everything looks pretty standard. 3-hatch spire. Probably going to move on into 4 or 5-hatch soon enough. I guess we'll have to see exactly what Saxby wants to play this game. Moving some drones over there, kind of like evening out everything. He's circling. I have to wait for this one zealot to finally make a move. That's nice, you know, like that's what? Aww. Wow. I didn't know Saxby was a animal abuser. That poor Coda? What are those things called? Is there another one somewhere? No, that's the Bengalas. Bengalas. Oh, there it is. Ursidon, that's an Ursidon, that's right. I do hate all those like little neutral creeps. Constantly give me a scare. Spire should be finished up shortly. So yeah, about 6:20-ish. I guess that Corsair did finish up here. Just getting over here. We already had enough scouting coming out there. 36. We had a lot of scouting from those probes, so we really know basically what Saxby's up to. We don't really need to just jut this Corsair across the map. So Jaehoon's kind of playing this nice, safe. We're going to get one Overlord. We're going to back up and just figure out what's kind of going on here. Meanwhile, you know, with Photon Cannon coming up, Templar Archives, Photon Cannon just to defend from, you know, any type of those Scourge. And it seems like, you know, we're going to just power up here as the Protoss for a while, get into stronger and stronger tech. The Scourge over here is just going to watch the Zealot. I like this. And the same for our Protoss player over here. Actually, we are getting a couple of mutas out here. How many mutas do we got? Enough. And that's nice. You know, that's going to be a nice little way to kind of handle this aggression. There's no Corsairs anywhere around here. It just makes it nice and easy. Ooh, one drone still couldn't go down. It's unfortunate. Zealot Legs did just finish up. It looks like +1 should be finishing up shortly. And these mutas are just going to be able to poke around here and just figure out what's going on. One Zealot with Legs going to go and get one drone. But really, like, losing just like one drone at that point is really not that bad. It's not like Saxby is really like forcing a whole bunch of different decisions about where the larvae go right now. I mean, like, obviously there are better choices than having to rebuild a drone, but it's not absolutely terrible. We do have these couple of mutalisks poking around here just to do like a little bit of damage. I think it's 6 mutas, 1 shot a High Templar. I might be wrong there. So the 5, I think, is really just all you need to kill a probe. They're just looking for any type of openings, I think. And I think that's one of the reasons why Jaehoon did go for popping those 2 High Templar into an Archon. Like, you might as well have an Archon if you're going to go against, like, Mass Muta like this. Ooh, or not Mass Muta, but a couple of mutas like this. So +1 weapons to finish up here. We're probably on the way to +2. And that should probably finish up around 11 minutes or so. So we got a little bit of time, I think, before we're going to see a big push out here from Jaehoon. And the reason why I say that is also because, well, the gateways haven't finished up. And so we're probably just going to get Robo Facility up behind this at some point. In case of Lurker Tech. But we've got the Evo Chamber. We've got 3 hatcheries there, 2 more there, and 1 there. So we're up to 6 hatcheries, and we're now just going to start pumping those Hydras out here, getting a little bit more of that map control, stopping the Protoss from getting across the map easily with a larger force. I mean, like, these little, like, small battalions kind of moving out here, squadrons, I should say, aren't really that scary. And there's the Robo Facility. Again, just coming in here. Oh, just as soon as the High Templar pops out. Okay, it's 9 times 5. So, okay, yeah, I think it's 2 shots. Okay, so I think 5 units would 2-shot it. I guess I miscalculated there. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. But now, look at this. Saxby is coming out here and pouring out so many Hydras. Oh my god, look at this just flood of units coming across the map. We don't have +1 just yet. It looks like it's about to finish up shortly. So hopefully we're not going to hit an anti-timing where we're not quite at +1 on the Hydras, and we hit just before then. Also have to be a little bit careful here just because of the high ground. We're dogging in here, looking to kill the High Templar. One shot. Oh, now we're down to 3 units left. I don't think we can really do that much here. Lurker technology has finished up here. So we're going to get those lurkers out in the middle of the field, and we're already getting match control. See that? Meanwhile, a couple of Hydras are moving over here. That might be a misclick. I was curious if that was going to be like a drone or something. But now, I mean... Oh, no, no, now the lurkers are completely out of position. Oh, that is not the best place, but we're going to get a pretty good surround here on Jehu's army, and look at these lurkers getting on top of the High Templar. Oh, that is the worst thing. And one more High Templar is going to get sniped. A really nice storm that's going to get a lot of damage done on those Hydras, but it won't actually kill any of them. The Hydra's now on the top high ground as well, and there's the GG. That was a really nice maneuver there from Saxby getting that massive surround. So Saxby will add 1 on the board here for Team HHSS. Wow. All right. So now it's 2-1. Can HHSS bring it back? That's the question here. I mean, Team RRJA has 1 more game that they could possibly win. But HHSS, I mean, let's see. We've seen Hyuk. Saxby just got a win in there. And now Sharp is up. So it's going to be Sharp versus Action. Action's pretty good, but I don't know. Sharp's got to give it to my homie. Well, let's see what happens. We're going to Circuit Breakers for game number 4 here. Let me swap into the main scene. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of Circuit Breakers. It is our gross yellow, our putrid puke yellow Zerg. It is Action. Spawn over here in the top right-hand corner. It is Sharp, our Terran. Oh, yeah. So obviously, with the power of Tesagi, we're going to see Team HHSS get into a good spot. But we'll see. I mean, as I was saying before, Action is a very good Zerg player. I don't know if anybody remembers back, I think it was ASL like season 7. It was like Action. I think it was actually Action, Sharp, Flash, and J-Dong. No, I think it was 3 Terrans. It was, I don't think it was Sharp. It might have been Light. And like Action was the person who came out first in that group. Like, you cannot understate just how crazy Action is here. In terms of being able to get out first in that. You know, we saw some crazy strategies too, like that Proxy Nidus work and all that stuff. That was very weird. But anyway, I mean, Sharp though, very, very solid Terran player. Already going for this Proxy Rax out here. Just, you know, not really like super far forward, just slightly forward. With an easy retreat path just to back into the base. It looks like it might get scouted at the last second there by that Overlord. But these are actually slightly longer rush distances in Circuit Breakers. Close positions, but slightly longer rush distance than if you were to be vertical. Also, top right-hand corner over here has the least efficient gas geyser in like the history of StarCraft. It's so awful. You just take a pretty big loss in terms of refinery usage on this gas, but so that'll probably, you know, that's most certainly dissuading Sharp from probably wanting to get any type of factory play going on here, because you just have to wait a little bit longer to get that factory out. So we'll probably see a lot of bio, and overall, just, I mean, Action is 2 idle drones. Action, what's happening here? And it looks like we are looking to get those couple of Marines out here. And this is just like a little bit of aggressive play. It does take some units off mining. It you know, it delays a little bit of the Zerg's initial plays here. We do have our spawning pool now finally finished up here, so Will Sharp be able to get this bunker up? Oh my god, it might actually go up. There's nothing over here. But then again, there is a creep colony going up here as well. I don't really know if I agree with this bunker, but it does give a little bit of flexibility here. As soon as these Zergling come out, you can just back up to the other bunker. Oh god. Oh, the Zergling are already here. Alright, play it safe here. A couple of drones coming back here. It looks like they're trying to snipe something, but that's a bunch of idle drones. And the bunker actually might just be able to get finished. Oh, the Marines. One gets in the bunker, but only one. It looks like we're going to have to cancel there. And that's a lot of Zergling. Can Sharp actually bring back enough forces or keep enough forces over here to keep everything alive? That's a pretty big loss there. But overall, I mean, remember, Action did have a bunch of drones that were idle in the middle of the map. We've now pumped out a lot of Zergling over here. Sharp is desperately throwing down this bunker, but guess what? If these Zergling just run past, I think they will be... Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you can actually go for it. Yeah, that's just with 4 Marines in there, it's too much. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. We're going for it. The SCVs are a little bit late on the pull. Oh my god, at the last second. Oh god, that was a lot of indecision there. Oof. That cost a lot of drones. Sorry, a lot of Zergling. Alright, so a third hatchery now coming down. A lair is going up at the same time. Not at the same time, actually. That hatchery's been building for a while. Refinery now going up here. And more supply depots. So we got the 2 racks coming up behind this. Probably 2 racks academy. But like a really weird, wonky 2 racks academy. Because we got really delayed and changed up here. Actually, no. Not 2 racks academy. That's very odd. Going for an engineering bay behind this. And I wonder if that's because Sharp didn't really get into the main base there to scout out and might not know that there was a 3rd hatchery that went down here. Like, if there was constant gas production, he might be thinking that we have Mutalisks coming up at the 6-minute mark, 6:30. I don't think... I mean, trying to step into Sharp's shoes here, that would be a lot of Zergling to spend and also get lair at the same time. So maybe Sharp knows that there's not a potential for Mutas to come up behind this. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought. But it seems like we are still getting that +1 weapons really quickly anyway. It doesn't seem... Yeah, there's no missile turrets coming down. Okay, so I was wrong. So I thought maybe Sharp was worried about the missile, the potential of Mutas being out really quickly. Doesn't look like it. Just he wanted to get that +1 weapons really quick. Spire coming down here. And overall, seems like we're just going to kind of stabilize and go back into a very, very normal TVC after that early aggression. Stim coming down now. A lot of Zergling just kind of spreading out all over the map. We got an SCV kind of hiding down here, waiting for a 3rd base. And that's a lot of Zergling. Ooh, that's a lot of Zergling. And the objective of these Zergling here are to really just limit Marine numbers. If you were to see like a lurker attack, you'd want those Zergling to really fluff up the protection on the lurkers. But here, these Zergling are just getting in here to try and break the terrain and get as many of these Marines down as possible. It looks like those Zergling will be effective in doing so. The bunker does go down. We're down to 6 Marines. And now we have to get ready for the Muta swap behind this. And that's going to be very difficult. We're going to have to pump out a lot of missile turrets to be able to defend, as well as keep everything alive. More Zergling coming in here. Going to get on top of a lot of these Marines. The medics are not keeping things alive as much as they probably should be. And this is going to be a lot of Marines going down here now. The medics are beating up with these Marines at the ramp, and that will keep them alive for a little bit longer. We're finally getting up to 4 racks here. But guess what? The Mutas are now finally out. We've got 7 Mutas out. 8 Mutas. And we are just barely getting our missile turrets down now. So it's a little bit of a scary time here. We're going to have to get a lot of missile turrets. We're going to have to really ball up here. And we're at 7 minutes. We have no factory in sight. We are still getting our range upgrade. That should be finished by the time the Mutas get into fully realized form. But guess what? That many Mutas, they can take down those missile turrets pretty easily. Nice repair on those missile turrets, though. We're now up to 11 mutas. Oh god, this early 11 mutas, that's a lot of mutas to be dealing with. 2 missile turrets is nowhere near enough. These SCVs will get easily picked off here. There's that third base going down here in the bottom left-hand corner. Meanwhile, we are now getting the Queen's Nest at the same time, so it seems like we're just going to go right on into Hive Tech, which is very standard, very normal here. But look at just a small number of SCVs that are left over here. This is just always my nightmare. You look back at your natural after like mutas have dived in like 8 times, and you're just like, all right, well, we should be fine. Oh god, I have 4 SCVs down here. GG. This turret tried to go down, but guess what? There's another missile turret that's about to go down. Oh man, this is my nightmare. We're gonna snipe 1 muta out of there. Third base about to finish as well. We finally are now getting our factory down here. Muta's poking in yet again. There's 2 missile turrets way, way, way back here. Not really able to defend these SCVs that well. And now at this point, I mean, like, we've got the Hive underway. Action is in a really good spot. That initial aggression of Zergling really helped out here. And again, the entire point there was to really just limit the Marines so that you can't easily defend these mutas. And guess what? Exactly what that did. Sharp's heavy investment into that early proxy really just didn't pay off. And now he's going to be behind a little bit for a long time. We're at 31 SCVs to 28 drones. That's a really rough spot. But we do have a lot of Marines out here. We can meet these Marine forces back up, kind of group them back up and get on the high ground and get into a good position. We might be able to get some semblance of a place on this map. But oh, as the lurkers be able to get down and burrow here. Ooh, that's a lot of losses here. We're going to lose a lot of map control out of this one. And ideally, this is the time when Terran is really kind of balled up outside of the natural and the third base of the Zerg, stopping that fourth base from easily getting taken. Stopping that third base from if you can stop that third base from existing, you're in an amazing spot. And I mean, Action did have to spend a lot of units here and a lot of resources trying to get that third base just you know, protected and alive. So you know, there's really not that many drones over here for 10 minutes in the game. But the fact that it's up at all and it has 0 threat of going down, Action's in a great spot. The Defiler Mound is now coming down as well, so I mean, this is really putting like a really heavy clock on Sharp. Sharp is trying to get that science facility and starport down now, and so we're gonna have a really late science vessel. Hopefully, just hopefully, we'll be able to actually get that science vessel out in time. We've completely cut SCVs at the natural, I think. I mean, I haven't really been seeing that SCV number go up at all. We're going to try and bust here, but this is a very scary number of units. That's 4 lurkers, each of those spots having 2 lurkers on top of it. I don't see this push working easily. But at the same time, there's a couple of vultures with speed trying to get over here into the bottom left-hand corner. It looks like they will be able to get in here. There is a single lurker, but guess what? These vultures can outperform that lurker really easily. Here comes that push, but God, that just got completely obliterated. There's still 3 lurkers left on top of that one area, and I don't see where Sharp's going to be able to pump out that easily victory. Actually, we're going into dropships instead of even having science facility, and I think that's okay. If Sharp can just keep constantly delaying Zerg to get out here, and we can really deny the science, the Defiler from getting on top of the natural. We can get a couple of dropships out here. We have to be careful though. If these dropships are scouted at all by Action, and he gets a couple of skirts protecting that main, that's going to be very difficult for Sharp to be able to do anything. Sharp's now down to 33 SCV. Okay, so here comes those dropships. I don't think they have anything in them. Okay, a couple of Marines. There are no Scourge over here. We can pick up a couple of these units. And maybe this can get us back into the game. There are a couple of Zerglings that just immediately jump over here. And guess what? There's already 2 Defiles here. They don't have enough energy, though. And this is going to signal those mutas to go and be aggressive. We're going to start dropping them. Oh my god, the Zerglings are already on top of those units. We're going to lose a lot of these forces before they even actually are able to do anything. There's a Dark Swarm on top of those units as well. Oh my god, this drop is just falling to pieces. That was a huge investment. And here comes a Scourge just to clean up the remainder of those dropships. Oh my god. Sharp is in a very difficult spot. 76 to 98. You never want to be below the Zerg in terms of supply. So this is there's still the potential. I mean, like, you know, we looked at game number 1 of Hyun versus Rush, and Rush just had that tenacious Terran spirit. You know, you just stay alive for long enough. But it's going to be difficult. Oh my god, the mutas are getting on top of the science mechanic. They're fine. No. Oh, it's just another loss. We are putting it down a whole bunch of spider mines over here. Hopefully, just stop that 4th base from getting easily taken here. We do have more starports going down here. It looks like we're just going to constantly push out vultures, which will give it like a little bit of rest. You know, like the big thing that you really want to do is stop the Zerg from having an easy access to the map. If you can stop the Zerg from getting across the map, guess what? You're still alive. But as soon as you let that Zerg have like one open way to get across the map, you are in a world of trouble. So these spider mines have to do a lot of work in the country. And hopefully we can get the 3rd base, because, you know, now we're starting to get 20 minutes. This main should be mining out in the next 2 minutes or so. So we're in a little bit of a difficult spot. But luckily here, there is this 3rd base that's pretty easily defended. Doesn't have gas, kind of sucks. But if you can just get minerals, you can make marines, and if you can make marines, you can win the game. Marines and vultures, really, right? Like, give me all those mineral only units. Spotting all those spider mines. Alright. Marines and medics now coming out here trying to get a little bit more of that map presence. We do have these vultures just constantly laying down those spider mines. So, you know, like, that's exactly what you need. You want to have that idea that you have any type of map control here. We do have that 3rd CC now finally coming down here. We have another engineering bay. We're getting a +2. We have our +1/+1 already. So if we can just, you know, stay in a spot where we know what the Zerg is up to and we're able to actually stop the Zerg from just freely walking across the map, we're okay. But as I say that, there is a huge amount of Zerg moving across the map. And a lot of Defiles. 2 Defiles with Plague and Starstorm are available. Oh my god. Actually, oh my god. If you could actually grab both of these Defiles, that'd be huge. Oh, and the vultures coming in from the other side. That's actually huge. Okay, that's great. That's going to keep Sharp alive for a little bit longer. But I mean, action. I mean, like, one thing I want to really point out here is how long these Mutalisks have been on the map. I mean, by now, you know, you see so many different pro games where, like, the mutas, you know, at some point, you know, they just walk into something like that. You don't really, like, care for them after that you know, early mid stage of the game. As I say that, though, Action does walk on those mutas and loses the bunch. God, that is literally the definition of captain. Okay, so we did get that mineral. It looks like we're playing defensive over here at the 3 o'clock, just to make it look like we want that. And I think Action is buying the bait. Action is actually buying this. Oh, but now there's also coming in here. Oh my god. Okay, so the spider mine will hit. We get a little bit more work out of this. And we'll get like a couple more hits in here. But I mean, at this point, now we're in a really difficult situation. I mean, that 4th base is finally online. We have a ton of hatcheries. We've got a lot of macro going on here. I mean, overall, Action is now in the mode to just start killing. We're at 138 in the supply count to 120 for the Terran. And the difficulty here is just like, if you let the Zerg get to this spot, all they have to do is just constantly make hits. there's just no fear of God in them, and that's actually kind of like the issue with late game PvZ if you have let the Zerg run away with the game so far. And Sharp is, I mean, Sharp didn't necessarily want to let Action run away with this game, but so far Action has run away with this game. And so now Sharp has to figure out how he plays defensively and yet is not going to let the Zerg just take you. We're scouting around here, we're skirting around, we're putting down some irradiates. Ooh, Scourge. Not going to be able to connect here. One irradiated Ultralist is just going to run forward. Ooh, there's another irradiate going down. And this is working out pretty well. Sorry, this is irradiate going down on the Defiler. We're getting some irradiates on the Ultralist. We are still continuing those upgrades. We're at 2-1 right now. Probably a 3-2 on the way. And that gas is actually very difficult to balance out as well. Trying to figure out, you know, oh no. Just trying to figure out where you can start to get. Oh god, a bunch of science vessels just walking right into a whole bunch of Scourge. We're trying to put down some spider mines, but really just all of them are getting picked up as soon as they're dropped. Very lucky though, the Defilers are killed before they're able to drop any of those Dark Swarms on this base, so this base stays alive for a little bit longer. Action is Sharp is now finally getting up to 8 racks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, wait, 4, yeah, 8 racks. 6, 7, which is pretty much like endgame Terran. So we're getting into a better spot here. Do we have science? Okay, it's over here. We're getting more factories. This looks like we're going to go into battle cruisers, but now 2 Defilers here and that many Ultralists. Oh man, we don't really have an easy answer to this. And now the Scourge coming in here, it looks like they will be able to connect with actually none of those science systems. But look at all the Dark Swarms that have gone down. This third base is absolutely forfeit now. There's just no way for Sharp to be able to fight this. Action is at 70 drones and 160 supply. And I mean, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, Action has been able to run away with this game to such a ridiculous degree. We're now at 3-2 on these Marines, and that's great and all. But now we're at 2-2 on the Zergling, and just this closer and closer those Zergling get to 3-3, the closer it is for Sharp to be running out of action. And you know, 3-3 Marines do a lot of great work, but I mean, at this point, I don't see an easy answer for Sharp getting into this game. Oh, nice little Spider-Man hit. Without some serious, ASL market. We've got Ultras just running right into Spider Mines to drag them into the Marines that are getting built. I mean, we're pumping out a lot here, but we're just not able to actually get a base down. This third base is going to come down yet again, but guess what? I mean, like, we've got another base going up over here. We've got another base over here. We just completely just, you know, Action at this point just has to just keep taking bases. Not even mined out of the main yet. I mean, that'll be in a couple of seconds, but still, you know, it's really saying just like how great a spot Action is in. But Sharp is staying alive. That's very impressive. That is like, I don't think a lot of newer players will understand just how incredibly impressive it is to let a Zerg get into this spot and still be alive as a Terran player. Sharp is playing this pretty well. He's known exactly when to start cutting those SCVs. He knows like exactly the saturation methods, all that kind of stuff. So he's not overspending money, just building like 1,000 SCVs, just trying to, you know, macro, and force more minerals out of where there aren't any. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of questions coming up here as you have to kind of constantly keep splitting for these irradiates. You have to constantly be ready for these Defilers. If you just let one Defiler slip in there with like 2 or 3 Ultras, guess what? A lot of damage is going to get done there. So, Sharp has been very good at keeping this active army out here and constantly keeping things alive. More Ultralists circling on the way. But we don't have any fire bats. I wonder why that is. I mean, like, granted, fire bats aren't the best, but they do help out in these dark storm situations where, you know, we typically would see a lot of circling on the dark storm. Like, they don't really necessarily do anything to Ultralists because it's like fire bats do attacks. They mitigate 6 damage, and it's already concussive. There's some large units. It's like, it basically does nothing. But it does help versus those Zerglings. But as it stands, we're on 1 mining base. And I guess we're going to try and get this 1 mining base. But we do have a lot of, like, just scientists for it, which is really nice. I think if we saw, like, a 3rd gas, we'd be able to start something about it. Really soak up a lot of Zerg's gases. But right now, we're in a difficult spot. Roll, and a Defiler is going to be able to get down that Dark Swarm for the last second. And now the Zerg are coming in from the other side, and another Defiler with another Dark Swarm on top. Actually, those Dark Swarms are a little bit inefficient. Probably would have been better to get a Plague there. Ultra is running back under with 12 health. That was creepy. And still being very active with these spider mines. But still, it's a very difficult spot here for Sharp. Sharp has to just get another base. Because we're already halfway done this base. Nope, here comes 2 more Defilers with 100 energy, 200 energy each. Be a great time to get this. That's a. Oh, here comes the rest of those Marines. If it's a real fire alarm, I'll. But I mean, I'm not giving up casting this game for my life. My life is overrated. StarCraft, much more important. Alright, so Marines defending this high ground up here, and we're just, gonna constantly keep just shredding units across. You can already see now at this point, action's like, alright, I'm just gonna end this. Look at this. Pouring units, there's the GG. It looks like it's gonna be Team RRJA taking the victory here of this best of 5 between these 8 players. A really sick set coming out from this Pro League style match. Really excited to bring this game to you guys. Really loved all the games that we got to see today. So thank you so much for tuning in. I am again Schamtoo. If you have any comments or feedback, etc., please leave them in the comments. And we're gonna hopefully see more games coming out from StarCast. And subscribe, hit that comment, like, all that stuff. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good night.